What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Thor Media podcast. I'm your host, Sly from Detailing Made Simple, and today I have something special for you all. So we are not at my current location. I am here visiting Phoenix E.O.D's headquarters out here in New Jersey, and the only reason for that as well is because I do travel for work. So Lord and behold, I find out that Aaron is only about 15-minute drive away from my hotel. So I'm over here visiting, and I do have a super dirty rental. Now, I will show you how to fully decontaminate. This will probably be a 3-step video. I will show you how to properly decontaminate a car with minimal equipment. I know Aaron has a pressure washer, but I just don't want to connect it and all that stuff because Aaron is actually getting ready to move to a separate warehouse. So for that reason, I don't want to mess around with anything. So all we're doing is just using the garden hose and using his products for today's segment. And yeah, so as you can see on the overhead, the vehicle, it is super dirty. And let's get started with the video. So just to jump right in, what are the products that you're gonna need? Well, he did have there it is, the tire brush. That's what I was waiting for. So we have a tire brush here, and we are just gonna get started with the wheels and tires right away. I do have a bucket right here, but one thing to note is for the bucket, I'm just using the bucket for the paint. I will be just rinsing off the brush, and yeah, so let's get started. So this is the dirty tire here, and I have Kraken ready to use. I think it's a 5-to-1 dilution on this bottle, so I could be wrong, but let's spray the tires, and right away you see the browning. Look at that. This is Kraken, pretty much 5-to-1 on tires. Right away, tire blooming. We're gonna spray a little bit in here. I am not going to do the wheelbarrows. I'm just gonna spray Kraken on its own and just rinse it off. Just because, as I said, it's minimal equipment. I'll probably just grab the towel, the face, and clean the face with the towel. So that's what I got here going on, and get right away to agitating. Now, one thing, it is pretty hot over here in Jersey, so it's starting to get warm. And as you can see, the Kraken is starting to dry up just because the sun was hitting it and this car was sitting outside. So just work within your means. Phoenix E.O.D products are sun friendly, and I'll prove it to you right here on the rims. And just clean away. Just clean and scrub away. Look at all that gunk, all that brown stuff. Yuck. So that is the first round right there. Now for the second round, for the face, I'm going to spray the face and just grab one of the towels and just clean the towels with one of Aaron's throwaway towels. And I am just going to clean the wheel. Just clean the wheel face. No rocket science here. This is a rental. But of course, if you do have the tools and equipment like your wheel brush, tire brush, and your extra buckets, then of course, do it that way. But just right away, you could just tell from one side to the next. I'm gonna spray the tire rubber, see if there's more browning coming along. As you can see, there is no more tire browning. So your tire is perfectly clean, and we are ready to move on to the next wheel. And hopefully, let me bring all of you in close so you all can see. on how nice and clean this rear wheel is and tire versus the front. Look at that. That is what we started with. And that is what Kraken did at a 5-to-1. So I'm gonna pause the video for now, do the other 4 wheels and tires, and I'll see you once we're ready to do the contact wash. All right, so I cleaned all the wheels already, and now we are ready to do our contact wash pretty much. And for this instance, I am not using a foam cannon. If you don't have a foam cannon, if you got a rinseless wash, you can use Hydra or whatever rinseless wash that you have at hand. But in this case, I am using Hydra, and I will show you on how to accelerate to deep clean and do a nice pre-rinse that I like to do. And this is something that I ended up coming up with on my own. So I like to spray rinseless, or in this case, I am using Hydra, and I am spraying it on the panel. But remember, most rinseless washes are pH pretty much neutral, so you're not going to get the deepest clean possible, especially on how dirty this Bronco is. So I like to spray my rinseless wash solution on the panel, and then from here, as it's dwelling, I like to spray a bit of Kraken or APC or whatever of your choice that you have. But in this case, I'm using Kraken, and I am just misting it on the panel. What this is gonna do is you're not gonna get that super heavy concentration of Kraken on the paint, but you're also going to get that nice slippery surfactant type of feel that you get with Hydra as a pre-rinse, because you don't want this, you don't want Kraken to dry on your paint or any chemical to dry on your paint. Today it is hot, so this is why I am doing this method. And when I used to work, obviously, in my garage in New York, this is the method I used to go for. So I let that sit there, let that dwell for a little bit. And I will show you that letting this dwell a little bit, I will rinse it off. And then I will respray Hydra again and just do my contact wash with Apex soap. So that way I'm able to get rid of all that grit, dirt, and grime with the aid of Kraken. And again, this is with just the garden hose. Now, not all APCs are created equal, so be careful if you're using any type of APC in direct sunlight. I know how Kraken works, and it's pretty much sun friendly. So yeah, time to spray Hydra again on the panel. And what I'm going to do next is grab my Apex soap that's in my bucket and do the contact wash. So spray that in there. Add a bit of Apex foam. Apex auto wash. I'm doing this on the fly as we go. Have my Apex soap, and having the Hydra that's on there makes it seem as if you have a pre-foam on or some type of lubrication before you even start to do the contact wash, just fully dry with Apex Auto Wash. And look how clean. This is proof. Look how clean. Remember how dirty the panel was before I did this method that you see here. I am picking up pretty much zero dirt pretty much zero dirt, grit, and grime. This is still completely clean. This is why I love doing this type of method, and you guys should adopt this type of method because it really does help with cleaning in direct sunlight and getting all that dirt, grit, and grime off. Come around here, rinse, and whoops. Gonna rinse all this off. And I'll continue around the vehicle. This was really the one that you can see the heavy dirt, grit, and grime. Gonna grab any drying towel now so you can see the rear of the car. And then I'll just dry up the rest of the car. I'm just grabbing this. Not using a detail spray or anything. This is for demonstration purposes. You want a bit of slickness to aid. But all in all, look at how this panel looks. No streaks on the glass caused by cracking, no staining, no drops. Nice, clean, bare paint. And I will bring you all in close so you can see. And that is what we have left. So quick and easy and simple. Next up in this step is the actual decontamination step. So I am going to be using Furies from Phoenix E.O.D, which is their iron remover. And I am using a clay bar or a speed clay. This is from Mother's, but he had sitting here. So with this iron remover, it smells a little bit to me like fruit punch. That's the type of scent I get. But I like to be liberal with my iron remover and just spray a little bit on here. Iron remover, not all clay towels. Again, it's the same thing, depends on quality, right? If you don't have the right quality, they're not all the same. So what happens is you don't want to use any type of clay bar with with your iron remover, because sometimes the clay towel will disintegrate. Same thing with the clay bar. And yeah, so you just want to make sure you're using quality products. And this Mother's speed clay is really nice, no issues, and I barely hear any contamination. And what I like to do here is spray a little bit more Furies if you want, just to double check. You don't want it to dry either, because you want that lubrication. And I like to use the iron remover with my speed clay. That's the way I like to do things, and it hasn't failed me yet. So do that. I'll spray a bit of Hydra because it is pretty hot back here. It's starting to dry up. And spray a little bit of rinseless. That's all you need. Rinseless is super cheap. It is not an expensive chemical. With 1 ounce, you could do 2 gallons of rinseless wash. So if you're in this type of predicament, trust me, it's cents to the dollar. And that's it. We have washed, clayed, and decon the car. I will continue the rest of the vehicle off screen. I will see you right now in the outro and just break down what I did, so that way you all can follow the steps and get the results that I get. Nice and smooth. All right, everyone. So hopefully you all enjoyed this Store Media podcast. So pretty much the vehicle is done. I did apply fin rear off screen, and the only reason for that is because you just apply it like any other tire dressing, and not to take up too much time on the video, of course, because now we're probably about like 15 to 18 minutes in. So I just really want to shut this thing closed because there was a lot of information, especially on the decontamination step. So there's no reason for me to spend an extra 2-3 minutes on a tire dressing. So yeah, so just to recap everything, so this way we have everything concise for the finale. So pretty much what we ended up doing is, with minimal equipment, just a garden hose, just a sprayer here diluted with Hydra, and we had Kraken diluted 5-to-1. With Kraken, we were able to do the wheels and the tires and use it as a pre-spray on the paint. So that is something to get rid of that dirt, grit, and grime. And we removed pretty much 90% of the dirt, grit, and grime, which you saw the combo that I ended up using, especially on the rear of the car, where I ended up spraying Hydra first to put it on the paint, because Hydra does have surfactants as well. Your rinseless washers do have surfactants. They are there to clean, but in order to boost up the cleaning power, we ended up spraying Kraken right on top of it, letting that dwell and giving it more dwell time, because the problem is that with most APCs out there is they tend to dry a lot quicker, while rinseless washers tend to have much more wetting agents, letting them cling longer onto the paint. So that is why I put Hydra first, and then I spray Kraken on to give it that more dwell time to break down that dirt, grit, and grime. And then I sprayed it off with the garden hose, and you saw 90% of that stuff was gone on the rear, and you saw me prove it with the Chanel wash mitt. And yeah, so after that, once you're done with the contact wash, I sprayed Hydra again. And yes, you're probably saying, why am I using so much Hydra or so much of my rinseless wash? Well, pretty much rinseless wash is super cheap. So pretty much for 1 ounce, you could get 2 gallons. And I only use a 16-ounce bottle, 2 16-ounce bottles here. And that's what I ended up using. So I used 32 ounces to just spray. Yeah, my wrist is tired from spraying with the trigger, but we got the job done. That's it. This is using minimal tools and equipment. Now, you could be much more efficient if you have your tools and equipment at home, and that is something completely different. But I am just trying to prove to you that you can decontaminate your car within an hour just using these steps. So yeah, so once we did that, the decontamination step, drive the vehicle, and that is it. The paint is nice and smooth, and it is ready to get polished. And I will see you all in a bit for part 2 of the video, when we're going to talk about polishing, prepping the paints, and then applying your last step protection. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.